Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of the brand new Tarkir Dragonstorm. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. This is basically day one of the format. Technically, I did some pre-release drafts before this, but I am still definitely reading the cards and familiarizing myself with the set, so I'm not super confident on this pack one pick one. I don't think we want to go for a three-color card right off the bat. I don't think Felithar is quite strong enough to justify that, but I might still do it here. I think Sunpearl Kirin or the Gurmag Rakshasa look like the strongest mono-colored cards if we want to stay more flexible. I'm going to go ahead and go with Felithar here. I think there are really good synergies for this card. When it enters or attacks, you can sack any non-land permanent to put a +1/+1 counter on your whole board. If we play white and black as the core colors of our deck and splash in the green here, then we can get a lot of token production out of those colors, as they both have access to the Mobilize mechanic, which spits out these warrior tokens that'll get sacrificed in your end step anyway. And you can stack your triggers to make sure that the Voice of Victory, the Mobilize card, triggers before the Felithar, or resolves before the Felithar. That way, Felithar can sack one of those mobilized tokens. So I do think there are pretty good synergies for this card that might make it strong enough to justify taking a three-color card right off the bat. And I'm pretty happy to have been passed a very powerful mobilized card to go with it to maybe make that pick work out for us. We'll see. Pick number 3. Fortress Kinguard is the other token mechanic, which is Endure, the Obzon mechanic, which is in white, black, and green. So in black and white, you have both Mobilize and Endure to go with Felithar here. So I think white and black is really the core colors that we want the deck to be, to where we can take the Kinguard here over the Sagu Wildling. I do think this is pretty excellent mana fixing. I've played it a whole bunch in Sealed. I think this is just an MVP in the Sealed format for sure. But in draft, where we want to get a little more streamlined, want to get a little more aggressive, try to focus it on two colors if we can, especially with an aggressive bomb like Felithar. I think we just stick to black and white as the core colors, where putting in a green piece of fixing doesn't really help out, because by the time I have the green mana, I'll have drawn into my splash color. Now, this Rakshasa might be pretty decent too. It is a 6-drop, which is kind of a lot for an aggressive deck, but it can kill a smaller creature and buff your board with a -2/-2 and then +2/+2 somewhere. Maybe I'm undervaluing that Rakshasa, but I have yet to play with or against the card. So again, it's going to be some of those really early format drafts here today. Pick number 4, I like the Nightblade Brigade perfectly fine, just locking in our black-white tokens deck here. I think the Boltcaster is really nice in Mardu. With the Mobilize mechanic, you get to attack in with those 1/1s that are going to die anyway, so your opponent's just going to be blocking these 1/1s a lot, because there's really no reason not to, as they're only 1/1s, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get to Boltcaster, their big blocker they stop some damage with. So that is pretty nice. I think the Sultai cards are decent too. Sultai Monument for fixing, Rakshasa's Bargain for card draw, but not strong enough to really get me off of the deck we're currently going for. Pick number 5, Poised Practitioner. Let's see, 3 mana, 2/3. When you flurry and cast a second spell in your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Scry 1. Probably fine, not really great in black-white. Obviously for a dedicated flurry deck, which is going to be in the Jeskai colors. Sandskitter Outrider is going to be perfectly fine. Another Endure card. Tempest Hawk. It's kind of awkward. You need to have really like 3 copies to be super happy with it. At 2 copies, it's playable, and at 1 copy, it's just unplayable. So that's a little risky, a little gambly to take a card like that needs a ton of copies. I'm just going to go for the Outrider here. Pick number 6. That is a late Shrine Keeper. It's definitely the best card in this pack. And there's nothing in black or white anyway. So I guess I just take that. I do have 2 really strong white spells that can fit into any of these 3 color pairs with Jeskai here. If we go red-white or blue-white, I guess. We'd kind of have to go red-white, because you have to be enemy color pair in this format. Pick number 7. Filler Counterspell. Sharpshooter is very, very strong in the mobilized kind of decks, spitting out a ton of tokens all over the place. I am interested in going off color for that and having Mardu as an option to red, white, and black. Easily the strongest card still in that pack. Pick 8 Earth Carver is a great card for the top end of your curve, and it's very splashable for a black-white splash and green deck with the Felithar, so I like that. But also, this is a late channel Dragonfire, which would go great into our Jeskai Shrinekeeper deck, or our Mardu like Sharpshooter kind of deck. Our black spells are not particularly strong. The Brigade and the Outrider are a little bit filler. So if we take Dragonfire, I have two pretty excellent red spells. And then the two different paths we can take here are red, white, splash black for Mardu, or red, white, splash blue for Jeskai. And that seems pretty reasonable with the kind of cards we're getting past really late there. Sharpshooter into Dragonfire being two pretty excellent red spells in a row. Now I can take the black-red fixing to help out should we play Mardu. Jeskai Devotee can be fine fixing for us if we're in red-white. Great fixing if we're in red, white, blue. Pick 11. Very mediocre. I'll take some super filler fixing just in case I don't manage to get enough, but I'm not planning on main decking that. Up front, pick 12, the Sultai card. Still hear the Rakshas's Bargain. We're not playing any of these, but Bargain's the strongest card, I think. Pick 13, some poop. This is one of those cards that you also have to draft a bunch of other cards to go with it, 2 in a row. You also have to draft a bunch of other cards to go with it, and then the cards that it picks up, sadly we can't look at them right now, are just not that strong in the first place. So even if everything goes right, you get to draft this card, you get to draft the globes, and you get to draft the dragon. I'm just not that pumped about it. At that point it becomes like pretty playable, but it's not a huge payoff for a card that restricts so many of your picks throughout the draft. So pack 2, pick 1, we've got a great blue rare for going Jeskai here. And this is a very reasonable splash. It does cost double blue to cast it, which is definitely difficult off of the splash. Just taking a peek at everything else real quick. Maybe he's supposed to take Exhale. It's definitely difficult to hit double blue off the splash, but because it has an omen attached, where if I don't have double blue, if I just have a single blue, it's still a useful spell. Draw 3, discard 1, shuffle this back into the deck. I think that's super worth it. I'm going to take the River Regent and try to lock in on Jeskai here in the end. Pick 2, we've got another channeled Dragonfire. Big fan of that. There's also a Riling Dawnbreaker that I've been really impressed by during the pre-release. This is a 2-mana 2/2 that shuffles back into your deck, or a 5-mana 3/4 flyer that gives something +1/+0 every turn. I like the flexibility on that card a lot. I really, really do enjoy it. But I don't know, all of our white spells were really high picks here, so white is pretty heavily drafted, whereas red, we got our first Dragonfire pick like 9 or something, so it's possible to wheel the Dragonfire and basically impossible to wheel the Dawnbreaker, I think. I'm gonna go for the Dawnbreaker. Maybe overdrafting the card because of how impressed I have been with it early, but I think it's really nice to have a card that fits in at your 2-drop slot on the curve and is your kind of finisher on the curve as well. So whenever you draw it, it's going to be good. Pick number 3. It's a lot of mana to play plus equip, but then with a bunch of mobilize, you get a bunch of card draw, which is nice. Pack Beast is just straight up card draw though, and usually a lot cheaper. I mean, we've got 5 2-mana creatures already, so even without a bunch of mobilizing going on, not too hard to make this like a 4-mana 4/3 that draws a card when you play it. Already a great deal. And sometimes it'll be even more efficient if we've mobilized and we can cast this for maybe 2 or 3 mana. Alright, happy to be in red for sure. Tursa Light Shatter, nice and late. 3 mana for a 3/3 haste, discard 2, draw 2. It's already nice and flexible, really solid draw late, really solid play early. But also, if you have 7 or more cards in your grave, then when they attack, you get to exile a random card from your grave. You can play it this turn, so pretty relevant later in the game too. Definitely taking that, although there are other playable cards for sure, like Frontline Rush, Duelist, Feral, some fine filler, but we'll take the Tursa. Pick number 5. Jeskai Monument is solid fixing. We are in a pretty aggressive color pair, being in red and white, where we'd like to be the aggressor and push as much damage as we can early. And that does make it so, spending a turn just fixing our mana slows us down quite a bit more than we would like. But I do really like these monuments for fixing in any kind of slower decks. It might be better to just take the removal, though, to really pressure our opponent with all our 2-drops, clear a blocker out of the way. I'll take the removal here. This is a red, a white, and 2. Deal 4 to something, gain 2. So even if you're not playing black, it is definitely playable. Here's a solid 3-drop, Underfoot Underdogs. A 3-mana 1/2 plus a 1/1 gives you a wide board state to help with cards like Pack Beast, and it can get some unblockable damage in. Oh, there is also incredible removal, though. You can tell it's early in the format because I don't recognize all the artworks immediately. My eyes did not immediately latch on to Stormplane Detainment here, which is just Oblivion Ring. Classic removal spell, great removal spell. Definitely better than the 3-mana 2 creatures card. Pick 7, we've got a fine filler flyer with Dragonback Lancer. Fine filler early removal with Twin Bolt, although I do think there's a lot of bigger creatures in the set because there's so many dragons and stuff running around. So only 2 damage. I have found Twin Bolt to not be the best, at least in sealed so far. Probably still better than Lancer in draft, but we'll see how it plays out. Alright, good to be Jeskai. Good to be Jeskai, because this is a 2-for-1 at worst. It's going to draw the best cards out of our top 6, the 2 best cards out of our top 6. And then we're going to give stuff double strike on the following turn if we're casting any non-creature spells. Yeah, this is great. Definitely splashable as well. It's a card draw spell. You don't have to cast it early. You can wait till you hit your blue mana off the splash. Pick number 9. Man, all these duels and triomes are off color, or they're showing up in a pack with a powerful card like Rediscover the Way, so a little awkward on the mana front here so far. I'm going to have to take fixing insanely highly in the final pack here. United Battlefront just does not do anything in draft, but the other option is splashing in a Tawny back, like 2 blue and red as the cost. I'd rather just rare draft. Pick 11. I don't think this Storm Beacon Blade is going to be any good. So I'll splash in a Trawlers as another top-end card. This looks like a 3-drop, but you don't want to play it till there's a good instant and a creature in your graveyard, so plays a lot more like a 5 or 6 mana play. Ideally, you're casting this the same turn that you're going to be casting the instant or sorcery that you put back in your hand, so it really is kind of a late-game play, so it's okay to not have the right color for it till late. Alright, our mana curve is literally just 2. It's 2 mana stuff. Okay, so I could take Evolving Wilds. I would probably take the Triome here if it were here, the blue, red, white fixing, but this only grabs 1 color. I might even take a duel, but there's 2 great on-color rares. Rediscover the Way, copy number 2, and Meringue River Regent. We got the first Rediscover the Way pretty late, so it is possible, although pretty unlikely, to wheel this card. I don't think it's possible to wheel a great mono blue rare, so 2 incredible rares, and here I am again taking powerful spells over fixing, and that might come to cost us a lot this draft. We'll see. Yeah, and then there's no fixing in this pack. I guess there's red-white fixing with the Mardu Devotee. Splash in a Frostcliff Siege. I don't think I have the fixing to splash in nearly as many cards as I'm currently trying to splash in. I really don't. But the Siege is the strongest card. To be safe with the mana base, I just play Shock Brigade. I guess I could take Temur Monument as fixing towards the blue that always grabs our red, but it's such a slow card and I can never crack it in this deck. I don't think I do that. I'm taking Frostcliff Siege. This is just bad decisions, the draft. What can go wrong will go wrong here. Alright, I definitely need to take Jeskai Monument here. I don't like that it slows down our deck when we have so many 2-mana creatures, but now I actually think having double River Regent and stuff We're a much slower deck. Maybe I'm just drafting this format wrong, and there really just isn't a huge reason to be aggressive. Right? Like I was getting all these great 2 drops. I have incredible early aggro plays like Voice of Victory, but I think this deck still would have easily ended up better if I just took more Jeskai Monuments and we played a lot slower, more mid-rangey, because we just get multiple great late game rares and we're splashing in a third color and all that kind of stuff. So I think this draft would have gone much better, even though I'm red-white at the core, if I just took a bunch of slower cards that give us more consistent card draw, give us more consistent mana fixing. Maybe aggro is just really not the thing often at all. This pack is no fixing. I'm just going to rare draft a Mythic. Because I'm not going to play a coordinated maneuver. I guess Iridescent Tiger is sort of fixing. 5 mana, 3/4, plus I can cast a Rediscover the Way that's been sitting in my hand. Why are all the duels off color? I'm just gonna play double Embermouth Sentinel in this deck. Okay, we got double Jeskai Monument, which is nice. Our mana curve is dumb. 2 and then 6. That's the curve pretty much. Yeah, I'll take Jeskai Monument. Sig Appraiser is really good if blue is one of your main 2 colors, but blue is our splash here, and I really, really, really need to take fixing as much as I would like to play a Sig Appraiser. We have like no choice at this point but to take fixing when it shows up. Putting our card back on top is pretty mediocre. I think I'd rather just play a easier to cast Flurry 2/3 as our 3-drop. But I could use another 3-drop for sure. Pick 9, another one of these. That is interesting with the graveyard mechanics in this format. There is the Teamer Monument. Again, I can never crack this. This is 2 mana, search for a basic, and that's the entirety of what it does. That seems pretty mediocre. Without green, I'm going to take the Kinguard. I will get 1 messenger, I guess, looks like. Red, white, and 2. Got the Shock Brigade back. Not playing any of these. Not playing the first Wild Ride. Alright. So, we didn't get a single land. Which isn't great. As far as I remember, our best opportunity to find an on-color land was the Evolving Wilds. There was like a single Evolving Wilds. I don't remember seeing a 3-color land or even an on-color duel during pack 2 or 3 once we decided we're Jeskai. It's possible there was one, but again, they likely showed up in packs with like the River Regent or the Rediscover the Way when we were taking a really powerful spell. So, mana base is awkward, but double Jeskai Monument, double Embermouth Sentinel are going to go a really long way. Having to play the Embermouth Sentinels is going to be awkward for sure. That is certainly weakening our deck a bit. God, this creature curve is insane. Definitely cutting the duelists. Like to keep the trawlers if I can. Yeah, if we move all the blue cards to the very top of the curve, we still have a really, really aggressive mana curve with just Boros cards, which is nice. I don't have that many instants or sorceries in here, and I'm probably cutting 1 or 2 more. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Spectral Nile. I don't think Trawlers is actually particularly great. Yeah, I'm actually going to cut that. I really don't like the Sentinels much, but when this is the mana base, I think we're kind of forced to play them here. What is our creature count? 18? I can definitely cut a couple of those. Which would ideally be the Sentinels, but you know how the mana base is. Maybe the Messenger. any of these entry effects that put a card back on top of your library, like they're not putting you up a card at all. You're skipping the next draw step to put that card into your hand, so you're basically just essentially just getting a 2/3 flying vigilance worth of value, which is very mediocre at 4 mana and just okay at 3. Which doesn't feel worth the restrictive mana costs. As compared to the quality of the other creatures in the deck. Again, like, sure, it's fine, but compare that to pretty much any other creature in here. And I think that is likely the weakest non-Embermouth Sentinel creature. Spells to cut. I cannot cut Jeskai Monument. I do not want to cut the Siege or the Rediscover the Way. Can lower my blue splash by cutting one of the blue spells. Spectral Denial, I think, being a little weaker than the rares. This card's probably fine. Probably actually good if you're like Teamer and you have a lot of power 4 or greater creatures. Jeskai, maybe not so much. And it's competing with quality stuff here. It's competing with pretty much all rares. 1 uncommon Shrinekeeper. 2 more cuts. Double Monument here. Both of these pick up a land. Both of the Sentinels make sure we have a land on top. We've got a lot of 2-drops. I think we can go to 16 lands here. 1 final cut. Part of me is tempted to just cut Twin Bolt here. Again, we're so early in the format. There's been like no huge discussion yet about card power levels and archetypes and everything, so I'm just going off of pretty much intuition. And Twin Bolt has not felt that good. It's got to be undervaluing it though, right? Because Lightning Strike was way worse than usual in Ether Drift, but it was still like fine. It was still a decent card to put in your deck. It just wasn't anything you should draft super highly or like see as a huge reason to play red in your sealed pool or anything like that. I feel like Twin Bolt probably falls in a similar spot here, where it's like still a fine card to have in the deck, just far from the quality it would be in other sets. Might just cut it. It's going really low on interaction, but like how many cards are there going to be that I desperately need to kill that I can kill with a Twin Bolt? Probably very few. Maybe I can 2-for-1 myself, though. Attack another scary creature. Have my 2/3 die, and then finish it off with Twin Bolts if it's like a good 4 toughness card. Something like that could be possible. I don't know. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to cut that Twin Bolt here. And let's make sure the mana base is good. Definitely less blue sources than this, I think. 12 white and 9 red. We're on 6/6/4 right now. Let's go 7/6/3. 3 islands, 2 Jeskai monuments. The Regents are the only card in the whole deck that requires double blue. And when I don't have it, I can just draw 3, discard 1, and shuffle them back in for when I do draw that second blue. So I think 3 blue sources, double monument is more than enough here. So that I can have a lot of sources of our main colors. Mana base is still definitely going to be an issue. If this deck had a tri-land, some duels, be pretty excellent. But without them, we got to run some Sentinels, and we got to cross our fingers a bit. But looks like a pretty fun deck to start off the format with, so we'll see how it plays out as we hop into the gameplay. All right, here we are on the play for game 1. I need to draw a land, but if I draw any land in the deck, I get to play Practitioner. 2 blue spells in the opener is also awkward. But I have quite some time before I care that much. Turn 3, I'm casting something. Turn 4, I'm casting something. By turn 5, I'll have drawn like 3 more cards, which means out of those cards, I should have drawn some other kind of castable spell here. There's Jeskai Monument. That's pretty perfect. I think I'm curving here and getting aggressive. Oops. That way, if I draw another 2-mana play, I can play Jeskai Monument plus that card and flurry out there. Our opponent's on the 5-color deck, which can be really, really strong when you get the mana to come together. They might be part of the reason that we could not find a lot of lands late at all in our draft. Again, they might have shown up early, and I just didn't take them over really strong rares and stuff, but we definitely didn't see the right fixing late. Okay, now Shrine Keeper comes out next turn, so I need to Monument this turn now. Yeah, I mean, we got these Jeskai Monuments, like, at least one of them was decently late, as far as I remember. Jeskai Rare pretty late, so maybe the land's not really showing up late at all was some kind of 4 or 5 color drafter like our opponent here. Although, I mean, even the 4 or 5 color drafters would like the monuments. I don't know. I don't know what happened. There's their own Rediscover the Way. A very, very good value play. Very good card draw. Speaking of very good card draw, let's hasten and draw a card off Shrine Keeper. Unless they have 1 mana removal for it. It'll be a 2-for-1 for us. Beautiful. If we ever draw into like the perfect mana for the Shrine Keeper curve out, actually giving it the double strike too with that 3 mana ability would be pretty insane. I guess I could have tried to do that here. Monument on turn 3, Rediscover on turn 4, Shrine Keeper turn 5. If they don't kill it, then turn 6, we can get a double strike if we drew a non-creature spell. I feel like if we had a Rediscover the Way on the board and a Shrine Keeper on board, if they have any removal at all in their hand, that Shrine Keeper's just dead anyway. So pretty unlikely it would have happened, but maybe. Yep, there's the removal. Dragonclaw, strike the big dragon. Stormplane Detainment as our draw. As much as I would like to get the extra damage off Sharpshooter, I think it's better to Practitioner first and then Sharpshooter and get the counter in the scry twice. Pretty sick. Beefy practitioners. I don't actually mind this Jeskai Monument. Couple 1/1 flyers when our opponent is down to 11 is threatening. Got the Detainment. If they tap out and make an elephant here, we Detainment and basically lethal them. So that's our hopes here. That's what we got our fingers crossed for. Just play one big doofus. One big idiot. They're not even going to try. Scoop them up. And that is 1-0 heading into game 2. Here we are now for game 2. Now I need the red source. I have the Kingarden to Practitioner no matter what. It's my 2-drop, my 3-drop. Looking for lands or spells from there. Alright. When you've got a mana base like ours, you can't really can't really hope for too much better. Oops. I like these little statues. I just wish they weren't so close to the emote button. Get another blue source. It's gonna be wild. I guess even if I don't, draw 3, discard 1 is genuinely great with this hand right now. Because we need to find some action, so just draw 3, discard our extra land here. Shuffle back in another big bomb dragon to draw into later. I think this card is just awesome. But I've never played with it at all. It just looks awesome. In a hand like this, just draw 3, discard 1 at the end of their turn. Already awesome. And then I just still have a big dragon to draw later. I've got 2 of them in this deck, actually. Rediscover the Way. Sick. Is Flurry really that valuable? Probably not. So I could Coil and Catch during their end step, and then I know I can Flurry next turn for the Practitioner. But I could instead just Rediscover the Way towards hitting another blue source to just cast the Gigantic Dragon later. I don't know, I do have 2 in my deck to draw into. I like drawing cards a lot. I also don't mind just drawing here and then also drawing there. So draw 3, draw 2. Just getting a whole ton of cards for the long game instead. Even if I had the double blue, might not be the worst idea in the world. Alright, some card draw from our opponent. 4/3 plus draw a card. Hello, Pack Beast. Gonna be a very common card, I expect. Our opponent is on Mardu, so another aggressive clan over there. Our Practitioner doing some good work as a 2/3 roadblock. Mardu Devotee, Scry 2. They have a much better mana base. They've got a Nomad Outpost of Bloodfell Caves. Who plays non-basics? Can have such a simpler deck. Just all basic lands here. Who wants to play tap lands? I mean, really. Okay. Well, there's that double blue. Pack Beast, actually, I can double spell with 2, which is pretty gross. Dawnbreaker, great draw late like this. Alright, let's clutter up the board here, seeing as they have played quite an aggressive board themselves. I think I have enough balmy, super scary cards to scry away just a 2-drop here. It is way too early in the format for me to know what on earth is happening here. So there's probably like an inspired charge +2/+1 to everybody effect in this set. This is going to be a nightmare for me kind of no matter what it is. Just if they have any trick in their hand. What on earth could this be? +2/+1 to 2 cards? I know that that card exists. +2/+1 to 2 things. They couldn't save that. They could have that win. That's fine. I don't want to put Sharpshooter at risk, I think. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. That's the best way to figure out what it is and play around it in the future. Should just see. Oh, it's just 1 trick? Okay. That's not terrible. Pretty good trick for our opponent, though. They get to trade up and draw a card at the same time. Nurturer, nice wide board. Block. Block. I think I have a big enough board to just draw cards right now. And I could draw something immediately castable off this and double spell for the turn. Okay, I'm not going to because I think I need the Regent. kill 2 tokens, get a giant finishing dragon. I don't think this is a great game for Frostcliff Siege. It's going to be difficult to connect and draw a card every turn. Plus and plus, so Trample Haste is fine too. So it's a better game for that, but I still think it's a better game for the big dragon than anything else. Because we get to just delete their 2/2, delete their 1/1, have a 6/7 flying blocker up. Start beating in with that. That's a 3-turn kill. Yeah, if they don't remove this, then it'll actually be around for Chapter 3 of Rediscover the Way to potentially get a big double strike swing in, too. That would be really bad. Alright, that's some good life gain for our opponent. Indestructible lifelink attack. We cannot really block that then. We just lose a creature for nothing. I mean, lose a creature to stop 3 damage. These can chump more later. Could chump a 4/4. Potentially much better to be trying to trade off when we have the opportunity. Channel Dragonfire is pretty good this late. Should be able to double cast that easy enough. Think that is better than Voice of Victory a little bit. Because I'm not really in the spot to be getting mobilized swings in anyway. It's better than defibrillating current because I can kill 2 things with it, even if they're smaller things. Yeah, I like that better. Because I also get to double spell this turn by doing this. Fantastic turn. This card's going to be brutal in Momir. If you go for a random 6-drop and you get this thing, here's a 6/7 flyer and I'll delete 2 of your tokens. Hoverguard Sweepers was one of the best cards in Momir before. Momir is the format where you spend X mana and get a random token at that mana value every turn. So it's a really random, just creature token format where you get creature tokens from the entirety of Magic's history, which is really cool. But Hoverguard Sweepers was an 8 mana, 5/6 flyer with the exact same ability. This is just an insanely pushed Hoverguard Sweepers. It's funny because, like, I'm sure there's people that would have known Hoverguard Sweepers from drafting it in Mirrodin, but I have not been playing that long, so I just know Hoverguard Sweepers from Momir. So I see this and I'm like, ooh, a push Hoverguard Sweepers, let's go. That's a sick Momir card. But I'm sure there's a lot of players that are like, whoa, I remember Hoverguard Sweepers, this thing's crazy. Did get worthy costed, but that's why we have 2 in the deck. Still have our Siege in there somewhere too, way at the bottom. All right, Land Clump. Oh, I do have Big Dargon at least. Number 2. Please do not have removal spell number 2. Should not have tapped out a double red, but I don't think it matters. Because I can only harmonize for 3. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I am 1 mana off from recasting Dragonfire. Three, 2, they can sack another creature, give it indestructible every turn. So great on attacks with Mobilize. But I have the Dragonfire to throw at it. Dragonfire is a sorcery. So if they have Endure token production, tokens that'll still be around by our turn, they can protect it. But on the current board, Dragonfire on Ancestor looks great. If they have to worthy cost again, it's obviously not great to lose the flyer, but it's much better for us than if they just had a Molten Exile or something to shoot it for 4. Because then we just get to be in a top deck war instead of actively taking damage to these creatures. Alright, so some sort of combat tricky stuff again, I guess. Sharpshooter actually not looking nuts on this board, to be honest. So I don't mind a triple block. Sharpshooter, Kinguard, and 1/1 on the Victor. Get the combat trick out of the way without putting the Dawnbreaker at risk. Like, you definitely don't declare this attack without some way to kill Dawnbreaker if we block. It is possible that we could block the 1/1 with Dawnbreaker. Because it's possible it's like their own channel Dragonfire to shoot something for 2. It's the Unsparing Boltcaster. All right, pretty glad I didn't block, and that didn't go that bad at all for us. We still have one of those creatures left over, and we did kill the 3/3. Probably about as well as that combat could have gone for us. I like that. And we know exactly what we're doing here, which is getting rid of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I've got the mana to flashback and play Kinguard. Let's go. Getting rid of that indestructible thing and playing another threat. Or just getting rid of the 3/3. That works too. I get extra damage in this turn. It's probably better for them to keep the 3/2 than the 3/3 because of its ability. But if they don't want to take any extra damage this turn, then that's also fine. Our opponent only has 5 lands on the board. We are definitely hoping they hit a land clump themselves. I shouldn't open my mouth. Wee! Elspeth is here. Get bombed, nerd. I don't even know what this does. 2 1/1s as a +1 every turn. +1/+1 counter on each creature, and they gain flying until your next turn. -3 destroy. Okay, so Elspeth's unbeatable. That's what she does. Well, hold on. I lied. Because we could just already attack her for lethal on board, but now we can super do it with the Light Shatter. I forgot about this. I shouldn't have been playing every single land. I guess I had to last turn to be able to do my 7 mana thing and my 2 mana creature, while still maybe attacking with a 2/1 if they let the Boltcaster die. Okay, so we can cast something from our grave for free this turn at random. Do I have any other discard to draw? Checking, checking, checking. I do not, so I am going to play this land to cast whatever Light Shatter hits. Goodbye, Elspeth. Yay, a Plains. I'd be surprised if they don't take the opportunity to kill Tursa. Like, obviously blocking does not save Elspeth at all, but you can stop me from recasting something every single turn. Fortress Kinguard. And Zergo's Vanguard. So we're a little behind on board. I lied, we're actually way ahead. Okay. They have like 3 turns to draw into something to deal with this dragon, or it's going to kill them in 3 turns. They've only drawn 6 lands this game, so their odds of hitting a clump are getting pretty high. Oh, Jeskai Monument? Double flyer? Thin another land out of the deck? You love to see it. They seem to be land clumping. Final draw step for our opponent. They found the flood at the very end once we resolved our big 6/7 flying dragon. So that is going to be 2-0. Unexpected, for sure. We were a little behind early, for sure, and then we ended up potentially behind again to the Elspeth. That card looked unbeatable most of the time, but because they minus, no matter what I drew, I could have killed the Elspeth, so we would have been fine. But we got really, really lucky with our draws after the Elspeth. If I just hit land after that Elspeth result, we were in a bad spot. Because while I could kill the Elspeth, it would be like, now I only have 2 1/1s left, because they just block and kill the Kin Guard for free there, in order for me to get 2 damage into Elspeth. But no, we just hit Tursa into what, like Bomb Dragon and Detainment and Monument. Just sick draws in the end. Give us the victory, and we are 2-0 heading into game 3. A relatively slow hand here, but beautiful mana thanks to Jeskai Monument. A definite keep. Okay. Beautiful mana, just period. Seems good. Top deck to the plains, we've got all 3 colors naturally. There's a Devoted Duelist from our opponent. 1/3 is big enough to hold that off by itself, and then I can go Monument plus Dragonfire next turn. Or if they have no blockers up, I'll just play a Siege and draw a card. Okay, they've got a 4/2 up, so now I'm going to Dragonfire a 4/2. I could rediscover the way as well, but I want to slow them down. Kill this gigantic creature for cheap. That feels super reasonable. I could go for another red source here, so let's Monument into red and then Dragonfire. This game is looking really favored right now, because they're a Boros deck, which I guess we are too. Like, we're a Boros deck, but we still have tons of good card draw and value. So I'm probably reading too far into things, but I kind of assume when I see Boros that they're going to be just playing a bunch of cheap creatures, trying to get as much damage in early as possible. And this hand's really good at grinding out card advantage through Rediscover the Way, Jeskai Monument, Frostcliff Siege with the Monument Birds. Lots of stuff like that. There's a Dawnbreaker coming up too. Wow, alright. Get the birds towards Siege next turn seems reasonable. Or I can Rediscover the Way and not impact the board at all. I think I want the birds here, because it also makes it harder for them to attack. Like, a 1/1 flyer is decent. Like, I don't love trading a 1/1 flyer into their 2/1 or their headliner or something, but it's still, like, 2 flyers off of a card that already got us a land, so it's not a favorable trade for our opponent, and I don't think they're going to want to attack into these birds. So I think this is a solid way to clutter things up here. Oh, they have the Twin Bolt? Twin Bolt would be solid here. Jeskai Monument still put us ahead in value, but Twin Bolt does put our opponent pretty far ahead in mana, because I spent 6 mana to get my land and 2 birds. They spent 2 mana to kill both the birds. Yeah, that's decent for our opponent. Still like how that plays towards the long card advantage oriented game here. Coordinated mover, sure. So I'm taking 4, go to 14. They only have 2 cards left in their hand, though. I've got a 3/4 blocker to play next turn, or I can kill one of their creatures and gain 2. I could also play a 2/2 and draw a card off Rediscover the Way, but that doesn't feel right. I think I need to save this as a high toughness blocker if I can. Make it harder to kill. Headliner is a really... Ooh, Monument's a great draw. So I have 2 1/1s again next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to play Dawnbreaker now and then Monument into 2 birds next turn then. But Headliner is a really important card to keep in track of how that ability works, because I have punted with it before. So, because it sacks itself, it does not count itself towards the number of creatures on their board. So, they need 5 creatures on board, then sack the Headliner to deal 4 to Dawnbreaker. Alright, naturally draw the land here too. Vigilance with Frostcliff Siege is ridiculous. So I don't mind that, although I don't have a good blocker for Pack Beast now. But yeah, like Vigilant Swing in, draw a card. Vigilant Swing in, draw a card is crazy. If I could play Current for only 3, I would probably do that, but I can't. I could try to rediscover the way into an island. That's pretty unlikely. But if I do, being able to double spell both of these would be sick. I'd go Monument plus Current the Pack Beast. That feels pretty nice too. I'm gonna go Monument Current the Pack Beast, and then I know I have double blue next turn. That feels like a solid in between, a solid compromise. Equilibrium Adept. They draw a card they can play next turn. It's a Plains. They can play it right now. They go for a Mountain for another Stadium Headliner to get the Flurry trigger. That's pretty threatening. Double Headliner now. With the double Mobilize, they definitely have the creatures they need to kill Dawnbreaker. So we play the Siege to draw a card and get 2 birds at the same time. Or in the same turn. Practitioner. Reasonable. Alright, this turn we're just going to turtle up and block as much damage as we can, because if we go the long game, if we survive for the long game between Frostcliff Siege and Rediscover the Way, we are locked in to win the card advantage late game war, so I just need to survive right now. I assume I'm about to lose a lot of my board. They're going to Headliner or other removal spell the Dawnbreaker. I'm going to have to throw the birds in front of the other creatures. So here they can just sack the Headliner that I blocked to kill Dawnbreaker. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures on board. So they can sack a Headliner and deal 5, even if I don't block with Dawnbreaker. So we definitely block with Dawnbreaker. I think I block there then, since Dawnbreaker's dead no matter what. Even if they kill it with a combat trick instead of a Headliner, I think this is fine. Get a 3/4 blocker up next turn. With Practitioner, Rediscover the Way, get a Scry. Still got both our gigantic blue dragons in here that are great draws. Okay. Combat trick, kill Dawnbreaker, that works with me. Now they have 1 Adept, 1 Headliner, 1 card in hand, and we're still at 12. That draw makes me tempted to just double creature for the turn. I guess I can triple spell. That's not going to trigger Flurry anymore, but it's going to let me get the card draw going, have a high toughness practitioner, and have a second blocker just in case. That feels worth it. I get to scry before I look at the top 3, which is awesome. Okay, they're playing off the top. Love that. I do not love Embermouth Sentinel, so I'll draw something else off this Rediscover. We draw a Jeskai Shrinekeeper. Huge. gains 1 life and draws 2 every time it hits because of the siege. The pack piece is also really nice, but Shrinekeeper's a little better, I think. Alright, well, we're taking 2 every turn from Equilibrium Adept right now. But I'm drawing the best card out of my top 3, drawing 2 cards off Shrinekeeper. Pack Beast is a great top deck. Get another threat on the board plus draw another card. And if that's an instant for Flurry, that's gross. Okay, it is not. Alright, top 3, what do we got? They're down to 12, so if I draw into my big dragon, if they don't have a removal spell for it, then we get to lethal them next turn off of a 12 damage double strike swing. Oh yeah, so we draw that over anything else for sure. So that I'm threatening to hit for lethal next turn. I am giving them card draw by putting these back in their hand, but slowing them down from dealing any damage to us feels worth it. They have to recast them all. I could actually bounce my own Rediscover the way also if I'm convinced this game is going to go long. But I'm trying to get the insta-kill here. Oh wait, I just got rid of my 1 non-creature spell that I had for the double strike next turn. But I can still haste this out and get lethal in the sky. Just a different kind of lethal. Alright, Equilibrium Adept, 2 mana up to find a way to blow up our thing. They do not, they just play another blocker on the ground. Let's hit for 9 in the sky, shall we? Let's go. This deck has played so well. That is 3-0. An undefeated start all the way into a guaranteed 50-50 run or better. At least an average run, even if we scrub out from here. So 3-0 heading to game 4. An excellent place to start off. Here we are for game 4 on the play. Nice aggressive start and an excellent value ending with Monument and Shrinekeeper putting us up some cards. Opponent takes a mulligan. White deck from our opponent. Can Sentinel to guarantee that I have land 3 next turn to play Tursa. Or I can Monument towards it and see if I can save Sentinel for once I have a dragon on board. That feels really greedy. When I can get some power on the board for the aggressive start and some mana for the late game ending at the same time. Feels better to do that. I actually think I'm going to discard our 2-drops with the way this hand looks to the Tursa. Discard the 2 mana cards. Keeping one of them would be fine, because then turn 4 I can go Monument plus a 2-drop. Yeah, I guess I just discard one of them. Keep whichever one's better to play alongside Monument next turn. For just the full speed ahead curve out. Probably Shock Brigade. I don't know, if I discard 2, I'm closer to the 7 for Light Shatter, but this is just going to die before we get there regardless. I guess next turn... Well, no. Never mind, I was going to say I could just crack Monument, but no, I have to play Monument before I crack it. So to have a proactive play, I have to leave a 2-drop. I don't think either of these are that insane right now when we have this incredible endgame, so I'm just going to ditch both. And really make sure we have the opportunity to draw more lands. And I did hit a 2-drop anyway, I can just make a 2/2 now. Monastery Messenger, alright, Light Shatter still getting damage in. Oh, our draws are perfect. So perfect. You know, in case of Incredible Bomb rare drawn, I'm going blue. Jeskai Mirror Match. Poke us for 2 in the sky. We're down to 18. All of their mana up. That's rude. Cannot really tap out for the Shrine Keeper then, because they could have a counter spell, they could have instant speed removal. Guess I get to play the Dawnbreaker then and draw that interaction from our opponent. Sort of combat trick away Tursa or something? No counter. Also, if they had instant speed removal, they probably just kill Dawnbreaker before I move to combat and get the +1/+0. Ah, it is instant speed removal, but we had to be attacking to make it cheap enough. Okay. Dawnbreaker remains. Sentinel still gets the swing in. Well, that turn did still play out a lot better than if we played Shrine Keeper, because then they just snare the Shrine Keeper. And now we still have a 3/4 flying Vigilance. And we got to swing in with our Sentinel. We got our Sentinel to trade up into the 2/3. Great work from Dawnbreaker. Trawlers. They can exile a creature, pick up an instant or sorcery from grave, but they don't have one. They're actually another 4-color deck here. Maybe I should have gone double red, but here we are. Did they draw the counterspell now? No. Tap creature, draw a card? Alright, that's a little sad. No card draw this turn for us, off of Shrine Keeper. Dawnbreaker MVP. We just got a 1/1 to trade up into the 3/2 now. Big flying dragon that has hexproof until it deals damage. So if they block Dawnbreaker, it deals damage to Dawnbreaker. It has 2 toughness left, and then I can Dragonfire it. If I Regent up the Static Snare, how good is that? I've got a Hasty Tursa. They block a 3/3, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They go to 2, and then they die to Dragonfire next turn. Yeah, unless they play Life Gain. This is kind of sick. Oh wait, no, they're dead to the Dawnbreaker ability, aren't they? No, they go to 1. 1 instead of a 2. All right. Stormbrood. No counterspell. That is 4-0 for this Jeskai deck. Mana base has been looking sketchy, but the Jeskai monuments we managed to pick up pretty late have been absolutely phenomenal. Definitely the biggest overperformer of the deck so far. All of our rares have been playing super, super strong, but we knew they would because they're great bomb rares. It's the monuments that really have been holding this deck together. The monuments, and even Embermouth Sentinel putting in work in that game as well. So 4-0 heading into game number 5. Beautiful, beautiful hand mana-wise here. We are on the draw, so I'm not super, super likely to be able to keep dealing combat damage with our Frostcliff Siege and getting card draw going. But if they're a slower deck, which so far they are, green, blue, red, some Teamer stuff over there with a monument, it is possible we get a swing in next turn, which would be really nice. If we can't, we can still play a Tursa and just go pretty ham. Okay, I think we're just saving Sentinel for 5 years from now. I can play Practitioner plus Sentinel as my turn 5 play, get my immediate flurry. No removal, no creature. No removal, no creature. Aw, 4-3. 4-3. Do we trade Tursa into that? Just to get it out of the way. Still get my discard 2, draw 2. It's going to be 5,000 years before this does anything else. Picking anything up from grave. I could also just Frostcliff Siege for +1/+0 haste, which is guaranteeing no card draw this game, but Trample haste on all of my cards is big. The +1/+0 is also huge here. That makes Devotee big enough to trade into Tawny back. Makes Sentinel 3/1 trample haste. Monument spits out 2/2/1 flying trample hastes. This is like the turning point of the game here. We're deciding which way this game is going to go. Save this towards doing Jeskai, or go Teamer, buff the board, and try to be the aggro here. I kind of want to save it to go Jeskai. That's been consistently fantastic for us. We have 2 1/1 flyers coming up soon enough to get flying damage in with the Siege. Yeah, I'm saving it. Second monument? Oh yeah. Get this 4-3 out of the way. I'll just go monument, monument next turn. And then I flurry. 2-5. Yeah, we certainly need the flyers. Kind of want to do Monument Sharpshooter here. So if I want to crack the Monument, I get the extra little ping damage too. Maybe Practitioner Monument next turn. It's definitely a long game. They got the big booties over there. So I think the big question at the end of this game between whether Jeskai or Teamer would have played better is just all going to be about how well these birds are going to be getting in. But if the birds are going to be getting in well, then it would have played well either way. Getting the extra damage or getting the card draw off of it. If the birds can't get in well, then this would have kind of sucked either way, right? Because they've got the good ways to stop our creatures on the ground. They got a bunch of 5/5s coming up. They got a 2/5. There's a 4/3. So even with the +1/+0 to everybody, we're not getting through the stag well. So this game's all up to the birds. I want to start drawing cards as quickly as possible, which would require just cracking the monument right now. And then next turn I go Practitioner plus Siege. Or Monument, crack the second one. No, I need to play the Siege next turn to draw the cards. Yeah. Yeah, let's start drawing cards ASAP. Not the most mana efficient possible play, but I think it is worth it to get the Siege rolling if we can. Definitely looking to draw into our big 6/7 dragon, because they're currently likely to, well, from our perspective, they're likely to start putting out 5/5 mammoths soon. I guess whatever's in their hand, if it isn't all lands, is probably better than a 6-mana 5/5. But you never know. If they do, yeah, if they start making the tokens, then the dragon would be an incredible draw, because we kill a 5/5 token with it, which is pretty ridiculous. Okay. Practitioner plus Siege. Not blocking with one of our flyers, they are really important this game. So I'm going to attack with both, even though it only gives me one card. You're just going to get another 5/5 here. I think we take a hit the first time. Keep juicing up our Practitioner. If I could train to a 4/3, that's already good enough. And I can't really take 9 against pretty much all 4 or 5 power creatures over there. And another mammoth coming. And the sharpshooter ping damage is decent. But if they don't have the trick, sharpshooter plus devotee on blocks is pretty good. Even if they do, we stop the damage for the turn. I've got another monument to crack. I've got a voice for sharpshooter ping. I'm actually throwing Practitioner under the bus, sadly. Alright, it gets the trade. Pretty happy with that. Just make another mammoth. Oh my god, if we draw that dragon. If we draw either of the two. Oh, GG! That's the filthiest. I'm just doing it pre-combat. I don't even care. I'm too excited. Boop, boop. GG from opponent, and there's the concession. That is brutal. That's got to be the worst feeling in the universe. Oh my god. Our A+ tier bomb and absolute S tier in that game. 6 mana, 6/7 flyer, destroy 2 5/5 elephants on our opponent's board. We are just flying through this draft, 5-0, undefeated heading into game 6. Here we are for game 6. Solid aggressive start, sharpshooter into the light shatter, Frostcliff Siege later. We are on the draw, so less likely to be able to get those triggers early and draw any extra cards, but we'll see. We have played against a decent amount of opponents today that have not had many early creatures at all, so it's possible I get to just play Siege on 3 and hit with Sharpshooter, draw a card. With almost all of our opponents playing a Monument turn 2, like if we were on the play this game, if we were on the play the last one that we had the turn 2 Siege, or turn 3 Siege, we would have definitely been able to draw the card. Because, yeah, if I were on the play, then it's Sharpshooter, and then they go land Monument, and then I untap, play Siege, hit them. Okay, we might still do it. Let's see. At least force removal on the Sharpshooter here. Frostcliff Siege. Consistently great today as well. Sure, exhale the Sharpshooter. Get the removal out of there. They've got a Haste Fire-Breathing Dragon coming up at 5 mana. There's a Sagu Pummeler. That is really bad for me. That is so bad. 4/4 Reach. Absolute roadblock for this deck. So if I play Sentinel, I know I can play Shrinekeeper next turn. That only matters if they attack with the Pummeler, which they probably will. I guess even if they don't attack with the Pummeler, I could go like Practitioner or Kinguard for double spell, but I think I need to play Kinguard right now, regardless. Alright, well, I'm gonna get the second blue for our biggest mob in the whole deck. And yeah, I should be mana efficient and go wide here. I don't think I need to have Practitioner plus Kinguard as a backup plan to not playing Shrinekeeper next turn. So we know they have the mana for that dragon, and that is going to be the play. Play the dragon, swing with it. Okay. This is all cool with me. We're definitely not sending in the Shrinekeeper, but I can Trump attack. I basically just sack a Sentinel to draw a card here. Like, would it be worth it to sack a 2-1 to draw a card on this board? Yes, 100%. Would it be worth it to sack a Shrinekeeper? Absolutely not. Oh, let's go. They play around some kind of trick. Cool with that. Draw a land. Not so cool with that. Okay, I'm just going to Shrinekeeper now. Next turn I can go Practitioner plus Light Shatter. No haste value, but you know how it is. We hope to find our removal. I think I only have 2 removal spells that can actually kill a 4/4, though. I guess I have 4, because I have 2 that can kill it, and then I have both of the Bounce Dragons that I can draw into. Bounce Dragon would be absurd. Kill that token, too. Okay, that is not Bounce Dragon. Scry 1, ditch a land, draw a card here. Another Practitioner. We need something big, because our team or opponent is getting real big here. They're going to play another Elephant next turn. There we go. Perfect. We pass. As long as they don't go Swamp, discard spell, we have a really, really good turn next turn. As much as I'd love to kill 2 mammoths, I think I'm supposed to bounce the Reach and unlock a draw 2 this turn. Unless they don't attack with the dragon. If they don't attack with their dragon, then I might just kill both the elephants. Yeah. Because now they just block our dragon with theirs anyway. If I bounce an elephant and a pummeler, I can send in the 3/4, the 3/3. They have to go chump chump. It might still be worth bouncing the Reach to send in Practitioner and Light Shatter. It is close. I'm gonna do it. sack a 1/1 to guarantee the draw. But this way it's already, I draw a card, or I kill their dragon and their Wayfarer, and I only lose one creature. Yeah, this is already good enough. That's so much better than I thought. Okay. I'm way happier with that than what I thought was going to happen here, which was going to be Light Shadow trades into that dragon. And then they just trump with Wayfarer. Okay, I've already played the discard spell, so we keep playing these lands. Before we play another big draw spell, and I need a bunch of mana in one turn. I always want to call this thing Teysa, but it's Tursa. Just seeing it sitting on the board there. Pawnee back, discard a card, draw a card. Pummeler to block the 3/3 card engine. Jeskai Monument is huge here. Alright, Chomper, give me a card and take 6. Neither of those are good for you. They're going to take the 6, we're going to draw a card. Voice of Victory. I do have the mana for that, plus crack this monument, thanks to the monument picking up a land. Okay, they basically need a board wipe now, or we super win. And in Teamer, the only board wipe I can think of is 3 damage to everybody. That would still probably win them the game. That's a mythic rare, though, so it's pretty unlikely. But if they did have that, they would have a 4/4 and a 5/5, and I would only have a 6/7 left. Okay. Skimmer for another flying blocker, and every time that they exile a card or make a card leave their graveyard for any reason, they draw a card. Just once per turn, but still, yeah, there they go. Renew, buff up the Pummeler, draw a card. So now they can double block the Meringue River Regent to kill that. They're at 8 life, though. I kind of want to flunge. It's probably not a good idea, but they only have a single green mana up, and at least in terms of the flyers dying, they go double block there, take 5, I draw 2, I keep a bunch of good flyers, or if they want to kill Shrinekeeper instead, this kills Shrinekeeper, this kills a 1/1, they take 7 in the sky. That's an attack all board right there. In the sky alone, they're already taking a good chunk of damage. Are the attacks on the ground even worth it? There's 3 blockers, but I've got Mobilize 2, whatever. Massive for blockers. Oh yeah, even if they have a green spell, Voice of Victory stops it. They can't cast anything right now. Eat the Skimmer, half their life total. Draw a card. We lose some creatures for this, but worth it. 2 more flyers? Sure. This is a sorcery speed effect. Alright, opponent. Board wipe me or perish. Sibsic Appraiser does some digging. Let's see what it finds. Six and 0 with this deck. Jeskai is taking names today. pretty happy with this one. Who needs mana fixing, really? Double Jeskai Monument has carried us when it comes to the mana base here, as well as those Sentinels again. Yeah, really pumped about this. We've made it all the way to the final boss with 3 rounds in the chamber. We've got 2 extra chances if we lose the first time. So 3 rounds in the chamber on this final battle. Here we are on the play for the final battle here. We've got the Monument to fix us and ramp us towards the Regent. We have early removal with Detainment. We even have early aggro, starting with a Sharpshooter. If I top deck my 3rd land, I'll probably start turn 2 Sharpshooter, turn 3 Practitioner, and go from there. So this hand kind of has it all. Frostcliff Siege is the draw. So we didn't draw the land. I want to make sure I hit every land on curve, so I'm going to go Monument here. Blue-black. There's the Sultai Monument, so blue-black-green. Fortress Kingard is the draw. I could play that here, trying to lead into a guaranteed card draw next turn off of Frostcliff Siege. I think I'd rather play Practitioner. Makes it so any land draw lets us double spell next turn to trigger the Practitioner and scry towards another land. And if they don't play a good blocker here, we can still Siege and draw the card. They do play a good blocker. So land draw would be perfect. Oh, and they kill the Practitioner? Alright, land draw would still be great. Wonderful. So I could just get the 2 flyers now instead. They only kill one of them with the Dragon Sniper. One of them gets in and draws me the card off the Monument. Feels quite decent. Sharpshooter Kingard is not bad either. I will have a 1/1 to attack with, but they probably play another beefy creature next turn. And I'm probably not attacking on the ground super well. I think I'm going to get the flyers. They need 5 mana to crack the Sultai Monument. That one gives them 2 2/2 zombies once they reach that. They're on land 4 this turn. Evolving Wilds, Avenger of the Fallen. Mobilizes X, where X is the number of creatures in their graves. That gets really scary later. Okay, I can Frostcliff Siege and Sharpshooter, which is beautiful. They've got just the 1 reach blocker, but they probably will trade here so they can mobilize on the crackback a little harder. I'll take a good swing from the Avenger, but I can Detainment it soon enough. It's kind of funny because I think on the Frostcliff Siege, I have preferred the Jeskai half of it in like every deck that I've run. Not even specifically the Jeskai decks, like even the Temur decks and Sealed, I've usually been playing it on Jeskai. The flavor's been a little weird. No blocks, alright, draw a card. Get a land. I do need another blue source for the Regent, but got a really nice Kingard plus Detainment play next turn because I've got the double white. Man, Death Touching 2/4 is quite the attacker. And quite the blocker. But important that it's quite the attacker to go with its mobilize ability. It's hard to block that profitably. Take my 1 damage. Come on in, Dragon Sniper. You're doing work. We're down to 19. A million mana open. Huh. With double Regent, I can definitely coil and catch on one of them towards the second blue to cast the other one. However, with all of this mana open, it feels like this might be some kind of instant speed removal spell, so they can trade the sniper off plus removal spell and stop us from drawing any cards here. This might be overly greedy, but I am tempted to just detain the sniper to make it more likely to keep the Frostcliff Siege card draw going. But I guess I have 2 draw 3 discard 1s in hand anyway, even if they do have the trick here to try to stop the card draw. So I'll hold up a draw 3 discard 1 and do that instead. Okay, that's pretty bad. Big flash flying dragon. Sure, I will kill the heck out of that at least. Is it even that important to kill? Or is it more important to hit the second blue ASAP? I think the card draw is really important here. Get the 2/2s. So they've got 3 blockers on the ground. They do not attack at all. So we definitely had time to draw the cards. There's the next blue source. Oh, this discard sucks. Hold up. I like the Dragonfire for these 2/2s, but I guess I can just Regent the 2/2s. And that's also really good value. And then I could have the flashback later. Mountain, why weren't you one of those cards? I would have discarded the heck out of you. Jump attack with 2 of my creatures to draw 1 card doesn't seem quite worth it yet. The funniest part is to them, they don't even know if I have 2 copies. They could just be like, did they really shuffle it in and immediately redraw it? That would be hilarious. Feel pretty well positioned here with extra card draw coming off this. If they don't kill the Regent immediately, we have the Siege card draw going as well. Because I get to detain the flyer now. I mean, even if I don't detain the flyer, they don't have a good block on board. So detaining the flyer would be like a precautionary measure to play around some kind of combat trick. I would imagine with how deep they are on black here that if they have a way to kill our big flyer, it's just going to be a removal spell rather than a combat trick. I guess there is the -3/-3 exhale. Okay, play a Fleshcrafter. Copies any creature on the board. Alright. Bounce my Regent to kill my token. Cute. Detain that now. Ooh, they are getting aggressive here because they see they're like, I'm not winning the long game at this rate, so they're going to play it quick here. Well, we did redraw the other one. We're taking a lot of damage here. We've got issues, for sure. There are some removal spells in this format that can kill enchantments, which makes me a little worried about detaining their Regent, but I definitely can't bounce it. I don't get to play a creature this turn if I play Stormplane Detainment. Which means I'm taking... Oops! Oh my god, I put my shoulder on the keyboard. I have tried to set my shoulder on the desk and I bumped the space bar. I was thinking I might go Detain, attack both, draw a card here. 2, 3, 4. I am 1 mana away from a Regent plus Detainment or Rediscover the Way next turn. So if I just cast this first one, they have nothing engraved to buff that. I can just bounce Stormbrood and Avenger and slow them down for now. Play towards the long game. I think that's fine. I should have had more options there, but my shoulder had other options. Or not my shoulder, my elbow. I don't even know anatomy. Jesus. Well, if they've got a land in hand, they can just play the land, recast both the cards. I'm hoping that's their best play. Play the Stormbrood. So their sorceries are instant speed now. Would be a reason to main phase that. Oh, or to put counters on the board as well. Yeah, that's bad. Can't even kill off a double block, so we take big damage here. Go to 6. They can recast that from grave. Vigilance Trample again next turn. So I cannot attack here. I didn't hit the land that I need to detain plus Regent. 2 +1/+1 counters, so they can make this 7 power. I can double block it though. This turn would have been insane if I hit the land. Because then I can exile that and bounce the other 2. You just win. Can exile, rediscover, and devotee. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. Top deck a land, I could go Regent plus Crack Monument next turn if I play Monument now. Two on blocks does matter against Nightwatch though, and they're in an aggressive enough spot, they're going to be attacking pretty hard. Draw 2, discard 1. Pick it up every time they play a dragon. It's very good. Oh, please don't have enchantment removal. Just big game. Clone our Regent twice. They were looking at our enchantment. I do not appreciate that. Okay. Sculptor keeps getting bigger in their upkeep. Might get there. Second Regent. Need the double bomb. But we might get there. I think I pay the 2. Overcasting anything else. They can synchronize charged instant speed, but that doesn't do anything about bounce. Okay, they're gonna do it anyway just to have a beefier Night Watch on blocks. Have the life total, draw a card. They got a turn to get out of this board state. They had me sweating here. 6 life against a big Vigilance Trample spell that they still had access to. But it's looking good now. Play the dragon, pick up the Dragonstorm. Play the Dragonstorm, hope for the best 1-drop of all time. They do get to discard a renew card for value if the game goes longer, but they've got 2 mana up here. They're already dead in the sky. Give double strike this turn too, but there's the concession. That is 7-0, an undefeated run for my first Premier draft of Tarkir Dragonstorm on my personal account. That's my first 7-0 run. That's a little embarrassing. First 7-0 since they added the achievement. Had a lot of 7-1s, sadly. But that's a 7-0 there. Pretty sick draft. Let's claim that achievement. We'd love to see that. Undefeated. Take those. Let's go take another peek at the deck here. Talk about what went well, what went wrong. Gameplay-wise, obviously. With a result like that, nothing really went wrong. But I think in the draft there were some potential issues, which was really just not taking lands highly enough if there were great opportunities to have them. I'm still happy that I took the really strong spells over Evolving Wilds because those spells were insanely strong, but there may have been other opportunities to pick up fixing early that I didn't notice that we could have worked on there. But there's definitely a few things to note about this deck. The weakest part of it is the mana base, but because of how open Jeskai was, we still got a couple Jeskai monuments nice and late in the draft, and these helped a ton. I'm a big fan of all of the monuments, and this Jeskai monument played super well here. Another thing to note is when you are really, really desperate for fixing, or when you are really low on fixing, you kind of have to get desperate for the fixing, and you're going to have to play some mediocre fixing spells like Embermouth Sentinel. I do not think this card is good in a vacuum. If you've drafted perfectly, if you've ended up with a good amount of fixing, you are so happy when you can just sideboard that thing and play other better spells, or when you can pass it up and draft other stuff. But in a situation like this, where we're in pack 3 and I have no other fixing really, you kind of have to scoop those up and run them here, and they did help out the deck a lot despite being generally a very mediocre card. So fixing is really important. I am going to keep saying that here because my actions may not get that point across because of how little fixing we had going into the third pack. But the other thing, I think the biggest takeaway here or one of the other big takeaways here is how powerful it is to get into an open lane here, to get into an open clan in this format. We got pretty lucky and opened some pretty great rares, but the pivot onto Jeskai, after going for a black-white start, we did move around a lot early in the draft to go to the more open lane, and it was the pivot to Jeskai because of a really late, like, Rediscover the Way and some other stuff. I think the Shrine Keeper was decently late as well. So it is definitely worth finding that open lane, moving towards it, because you can end up with an incredibly, ridiculously powerful deck. We got these Jeskai monuments really late. We got Rediscover the Way passed. I think one of the regions was also passed. I don't think we opened up both of these. So some of the strongest cards in our deck were passed to us by being in an open 3-color pair here. But we also got pretty lucky and opened a lot of bombs. So there's that as well. Then the other thing to mention, this is really based on how I was drafting today. I don't think I went into it with the greatest mindset ever. I started off really, really aggressive. I wanted to play like hyper aggro stuff, starting in black-white there, then moving towards Mardu, like red-white splash another color. I just don't think that's generally how this format plays out particularly often in draft and sealed. We've got a somewhat aggressive deck because I took all those 2-mana spells, but still the stuff that was really winning us the game was consistent card advantage over time, digging towards a big bomb later. Cards like Jeskai Monument being a 2-for-1, Pack Beast being a 2-for-1, some Scrying from Practitioners helped as well. Rediscover the Way as a 2-for-1 was huge. So a lot of that kind of stuff, playing a grindier, mid-rangey deck with some really good removal spells, and some really powerful late game bombs. So I think a lot of this set, with the power of the rares in it, is going to be focused around like draft the best mana base you can possibly draft for your deck, whatever colors you end up playing. Draft a bunch of good, solid card draw that can impact the board early so that you're getting some blocks down and you're setting up your draws to draw into your big late game plays. Just do a really consistent mid-rangey, a little bit slower kind of 3-color deck seems better here, because even when I went into the draft trying to play a super aggressive deck because we didn't get the good lands for it, we ended up playing some slower cards like Jeskai Monuments and stuff that are 2-mana, don't impact the board at all. I was happy to play Rediscover the Ways turn 3 sometimes, just not impact the board. Like, even with a more aggressive deck, I was playing a lot more mid-rangey and slower than I expected, so I think the aggro in the format is not too much of a thing, because when you open great rares and you're splashing around for them, that just, by the nature of splashing, slows down your deck quite a bit, if that makes any sense. But hey, 7-0 run with a sick mid-range Jeskai deck, definitely on the aggressive end, but certainly not an aggro deck here. Pulls off the full 2200 gem and 6-pack prize out today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.